Okay, so I've got QuickBooks open. I want to see if I can register it. Um, and so you go up here to help. And when you do, you can scroll down and it says register QuickBooks. And then, of course, it just tells me that it's only for 160 days. So if you don't have a user ID, you can go ahead and create one. Apparently I've already done this one, so we're going to see if I can guess what my password is. And I got lucky on that one. So I'm just going to put some information. And I can change all this later. I'm just going to put this. Looks like it's requiring me to do this. I'm just going to say it is the first version. I'm just going to say other. We just want to get through here. I'm just going to say no. And I'm just going to say I'm not a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. I would think that none of you are, or you probably wouldn't be taking this course. So then I hit next. Okay, so it looks like I've registered it, so now I shouldn't have any trouble with the software. It should be good. So hopefully, again, this is what you're going to see. Here's your information. Let's just see. Well, they're down here. They're just wanting to see. They're going to be giving you a lot of ads throughout this program to see if you can buy more stuff. So I'm going to say no thanks. I want to start QuickBooks. So now I'm right back to the screen that I was at. So if I were to go ahead and follow the book, the first thing it tells me on 1.9 is that I need to go ahead and review the video. And earlier it did show that screen when I first opened it up, and I just clicked out of it to go ahead and do to flash on this basic screen right here. Now if I switch on over to 1.10, then I get to the part where I'm going to actually open up my first data file. So what you should be doing, what it's asking you to do, and actually these data files are in more than one place, but it's saying Step 1 is to copy the Chapter 1 data QBB file from the data file CD to your desktop. If you prefer, you can download the Chapter 1 data file from the Online Learning Center, and it gives you the actual web page as to where to do that. Now, the data files are in the back of your book, and that's what we were talking about at the very beginning. That's that blue CD. So I'm going to take that out. I want to show you what this looks like in it, because there's a couple of different options here that you have. So now I'm taking out my install CD, and I'm putting in the one that's blue that says student data files for use with this textbook, basically. So I'm going to put that in. Depending on your computer, it might automatically start and flash up with the menu. We'll see what it's going to do on mine. So you can either use the menu to get to the files, or alternately, you could just as well go straight into either File Explorer or My Computer, whatever you're comfortable with, however you look at files, and do it that way. I'm going to come back down. I like File Explorer, and that's what I'm going to look at. And then if you look over here, down at the bottom, it's got that little red McGraw-Hill. So that's how you know you got that CD actually in your computer. When you do that, if I were to click, I could either click the Start Here, which I'm going to do that in a second, or I'm going to click on the student data files. If I click on this, go just straight to the student data files, there they are. You can see that there's a Chapter 1 data file. Not every chapter, but you can see certain ones through Chapter 12. You only see one project file, and then you see a case file, 11 and 12. So what I'm going to do is what the textbook is telling you to do, and it really doesn't explain this very well, because it just says copy the Chapter 1 data file from your data file CD to your desktop. So what I can do is I can scroll on up, and you can see right here where it has my desktop, and I should be able to just drag that right there, and when I do, it's going to copy that data file over there. Couple reasons. The main reason that you do want to go ahead and copy it before you get started is that this CD that is in your drive is read-only, so you can't actually save to it, and you don't want to, because you want to keep the integrity of these original data files, and so that's the reason it's telling you to go ahead and move it to your desktop. Now the problem with moving it to your desktop, and I'm going to switch on down to my desktop real quickly, is, here it is. Can you imagine, as you go through this course, you're going to have all of this cluttered with all of these different data files. And so that might actually get to be a little bit too much for you. So what I would actually recommend is that you find another place to put it. Now what I just did is I just did a right click, and when I did, this menu came up, and I'm going to go down to New, and I'm going to click Folder, and I'm going to put QB data files. And so now at least it's a little bit cleaner. I have everything there. I'm going to move the one I copied to my desktop, and I'm going to put it right there. And so now if I click on it, you can see there it is. I'm going to exit out of that for a moment. When I go back down to this screen here, earlier you saw me just drag it over to the desktop. So what you can do is you can either, drag the other ones over there, or you can actually go down under users and your name, and there it is right there, and you can drag it to that. But if you're, if you're not comfortable with that, and you don't know how to get it there, then what I would suggest you do, because it's obviously easier to do that, is just to go ahead, move it up here to your desktop, and then just move it over into the folder like you just saw me do. That's probably the easiest thing for you to do. So now I have it there. One of the reasons that you don't see all the data files, you're actually not going to pick one for every month. You're going to start using the same data file, but you're just going to back it up and rename it. So you really aren't going to be using some of the rest of these within your course. And again, as you go along, I think it'll make a little bit more sense. But just to explain that, because automatically you see that say there's no 8, and that may actually be the chapter where there's some chapters where we actually create our own company file. But I'm going to, before we go on further, what I do want to do is go back to this CD and say, what if instead of hitting student data files, you went ahead and you clicked on the start here? It may be, depending on your computer, that it's going to start up like this automatically. So I just want to show you what this looks like so you'll see. And when it does, it looks like you're actually on the web, but you're not. This is actually on the CD. You could go, there is the web page that looks like this. And if you were to go to the textbook web page, it would look very similar to this. But I can tell by looking up here that I'm actually just looking at what is in my CD. And then when I click on student data files, there they are. So that's another way. Again, it's doing exactly the same thing. So you don't have to go through these steps. You can go straight into File Explorer. So now that I've done that, I want to go back to QuickBooks, and I'm going to go back to the instructions in my book. Because again, on 10, it said to copy my data file to my desktop. So we've done that. Step 2, it says from the Let's Get Your Business Set Up Quickly window, select other options, open existing file. Now, one thing that you will learn is that you really need to pay attention to the screenshots as well as just reading the text, because you have to, it's all in the details. You have to look very carefully, or it's very easy to miss a step. Right after it says to go to other options, open existing file, it says, well, if your QuickBooks software has been used before, then the following window will appear, and it's actually showing this. So then it tells me to open or restore an existing company. It's giving me that I have 160 days left. I'm going to say, okay, well, I know that. When I do that, this screen flashes up, and you're given these options of whether you want to open a company file, restore a backup, restore a portable, or convert an accountant's copy. Now, the files that are on that CD are backup files, which means that they are scrunched down to a much smaller size, a lot more manageable. The company files are really huge, so you're not going to be wanting to keep a company file for every chapter. As long as you have a backup file, you have exactly the same thing, but you just had the backup version, which is much smaller and a lot more manageable. You won't be cluttering up your computer or anything like that. So it's telling me to go ahead and restore a backup copy, which is what I have when I did the chapter 1. That's a backup copy. And it says, then click next. And there's a screenshot in your book that shows this. Is it a local, which is on my computer, or is it stored online? Well, it's not stored online. It's on my desktop. So I'm going to click keep local backup clicked, and then I'm going to do a next. At this point, I need to find it. Well, mine defaulted to desktop. Not sure exactly where yours will. It probably will, but if you recall, what I did is I moved everything in a folder called QB Data Files. When I do that, the only one that I moved over there was chapter 1. There it is. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to click Open. Now I have this, and it says, where do you want to restore your file? So again, the file that I'm opening up, what I'm doing is I'm opening it up into a workable file that I can use within QuickBooks, the full company file. So it's saying